Hi everyone, I want to welcome you to Kat's Creations. I am Kat and today we're in the studio today to do a 2023 version of the Floral Cross Wreath. So if this is your first time joining, welcome. I'd like to welcome you. If it's your first time finding me either on the Facebook Live group or through the YouTube replay, can you guys let me know? And also where you're from, I'd like to welcome you. And then who knows, you guys might find a crafting connection here on a Facebook Live. So I'm going to go ahead and pivot the camera down. I'm sure you guys are going to want to, hang on just a second. Let me go ahead and do the downward pivot. Make sure you guys can see all the measurements. I want to make sure. I think that's good. Let's go just a little bit further. There we go. All right, so you guys have probably seen the cross floral wreath that I had up there from, I want to say it was 2019. I think it was when I first did the very first one. Hi, Gail. Haven't talked to you for a long time. I was going to call you today, but I've been so busy. Let me go ahead and get all of my... I'm going to call you today. Let me dial the volume down. So I did this design back in 2019, and it is probably my most popular video on YouTube. So I thought that I would, number one, take the opportunity to show you what we're doing in a different viewpoint, because I went and looked at the video, the viral one, not so viral, but the most popular one was done kind of like far away looking, so there was no later where we kind of did an overview, but I just kind of feel like this one needs to get updated so that it's more fresh for 2023. So we are doing this on the Dollar Tree cross frame, which measures 24 inches at its longest, and then it's going to be 12 inches at its wide point. And then how deep it is will all depend on how you decide to embellish it or decorate it. So let me explain what we're doing. So on the Dollar Tree cross frame, you have 6 different sections. You have 3 here separated by welds. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. You have the left, you have the right, and then you have the top. I haven't done the top yet. I was going to show you how we go about doing these. So you're going to need 24 half pipe cleaners. What I mean by half, super simple. If you just take your pipe cleaners, you stretch this out, and I'm going to cut these since they're 12 inches, right at 6 inches, so they're perfectly even. And then we're going to wire them to the 2 center rings. So I always like to put one right close here, right in here. I always like to place one on the outside ring, right in here. So always trying to make sure that, you know, we're even on both sides. Sometimes it can be a pain. I've had people say, can you zip tie? Yes, the answer is you can zip tie. However, I find that if you just do them this way, it saves a little bit of money, because I don't know how much, you know, a bag of 100 zip ties are. And these allow you some movement so that there's no potential for you to to break the weld on these. So here's the other one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 here, 4 here, 4 here, and then 4, 4, and 4 for a grand total of 24 pieces. Now, depending on your colors, you're just going to need 24 10-inch by 10-inch pieces of mesh. I chose to go with a lavender. That's why we went with the lavender pipe cleaners. And then I'm also doing the iridescent, what they call laser wide foil. So both of those are going to be my color combinations, and we're going to toggle them. Again, each piece is cut to 10-inch pieces. It is cut with a wood burning tool. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to fold these, but you'll need 12 of the white and then 12 of the purple if you're going to do 2 colors. So again, you can break that up into whatever math equation you want, depending upon how many colors you're going to introduce. You might want to go white, lavender, and then a dark purple. So just, divide that up into however many pieces you'll need. But so far, you only need one roll of purple, one roll of white. You're not even going to like carve into it by a third. We're just taking 12 pieces here and 12 pieces here. I guess it is about a third. So let me show you the technique. Now I am going to use a zip tie to secure my pieces. In the past, I have noticed when we're adding the florals, sometimes if we're using the rubber bands and our floral touches that section, it could, melt the rubber band, in which case your Deco mesh piece might come undone. It's going to stay in place just strictly by the pipe cleaner, but just to give it some longevity, I find that if you just make it a little bit harder for it to fall apart, it just provides a good overall quality design. So the petal method is super simple. 10-inch by 10-inch mesh. I'm going to put the finished edge here to my left, and we're going to go corner to corner, just like this. And you're going to try to square that up as best as you can. I'm going to simply hold this flat so that I don't lose where I folded it. And I'm going to gather from the point all the way up to the center like this. And it starts to almost look like butterfly wings. But then we're going to bring it up just like so. And then we have a beautiful pair of like angel wings. So this is where we're going to take our zip tie. We're going to zip tie this here, nice and tight, okay, just like so. There is our petal, or that is the method that we're going to be using on the cross. So I'm going to show you again how to do it. We'll do it with the white. We're putting the finished side to the left. We're going to bring it from the corner down to the corner. Make sure it's all evened out. Just like so. Okay, we're going to go from the corner all the way up. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pull this up. We're going to pinch this in so that we have those, it creates like a little S shape on the wing or on the petal. And we're going to simply push this one through. There we go. Just like that, nice and tight. Go ahead and snip that off. So that is the petal method. So, hi Kelly, hi Nancy, hi Karen, hi Valerie, hi Ruby, hi Anna, hi Carol. Okay, so once we get these done to where you have 12 of your purple, if you're doing 2 colors, 12 purple, 12 white, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start putting these on our form. I think I do need to do 2 more, so let me show you how to do this again, because I think I left 2 just in case, so that we could do this a grand total of 4 times. So matching these up, okay, going from the point, just walking this up, okay, there's your butterfly wings. You're going to pull that all the way up, just like so. Put your zip tie on it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and trim that off. And there you go. Let's do the white one, and then we will have all of our pieces so that we can go ahead and assemble. Finished edge, point to point, 10-inch Deco mesh pieces. I cut these with a wood burning tool because I don't want to have any fraying, because they just look gorgeous if you have none of those little flyaways or little strays. So just like so. We're going to go ahead and pull this up. Just like that, and now we have all of our pieces ready. So it depends on whichever piece you want to start with. If we do white on the ends, then you're going to want to make sure that you put whites on all of the ends. So you're always building going in toward the center. So the side, you're going to start here, move to the center, bottom, move to the center, outside, move to the center, and then even here at the bottom, we're going to move from the bottom all the way up. Why? Because you'll see that when we're laying our pieces down, our pieces are going to stack on top of each other, and it'd be a little hard to kind of start here, you know, or even here. It's just not going to look right. We want these to kind of resemble like little flames or like wings. So I'm going to start with my purples, which means I'm going to take this, I'm going to lay this right inside here. I'm going to take my pipe cleaner. I'm going to simply twist the little ends, and then I'm going to tuck this down just like that. Okay, everything gets laid the exact same way. So here I'm going to take my white, going to lay my white right here. And also having the pipe cleaners, if I need to adjust these like they're slightly too close, then I can go ahead and make the adjustments by, you know, just pulling those down. So there's that. And I like to keep my creases the same. So spaced out exactly the same. Okay. Here, I'm just putting them on the opposite side of my zip tie. That prevents them from pulling out. And then we're just pushing down. Just like that. And don't worry about what you see up the center. That's all going to be taken care of. And then here, we're going right up to the center. We're going to zip tie, or not zip tie. We're going to twist that and then tuck that down. Okay, so that's how it is looking on that side. We will go ahead and start from the bottom since that is the biggest piece. We started with our purple, so we're starting with our purple down here. Okay, we're simply going to take that up, and then we're taking this here, and we're going to go ahead and pull this up. Just like so. Okay, there's that one. And I'm going to pull this one back because I have a tendency, like, I pull these two and then I have the ones that start on the weld and then move forward. It works out better that way. Okay, there's that one. And you can take these and either push them to the side or just tuck them below, or if you wanted to, you could cut them off. Okay, here comes this piece. And there's that one. Just like so. There we go. So you can kind of see how it's building upon each layer. Let's see. Beverly, the size of the mesh is 10-inch pieces by 10 inches. So see, if you need to move these, like I have this one really right inside here, I want to make sure that they're not laying on top of each other, but more like a side by side. Okay, just like that. Grab our white piece. There's that. And then purple. It goes pretty fast once you have all your pieces built. As you can see, I'm just moving these up, which is why I'd rather have them here than zip tied, because here I can just move them. Okay, back to white. I feel like I'm doing electrical work or something, just based on how that feels like it's going in. Okay. Take this one. And I'm going to move this one forward just so that I can get my spacing correct. Okay, white. Take our purple. So that means that our center is going to be bordered in white, which is nice, because I plan on having all purple florals right inside. And it's weird that I have this one here. Like, let me flip these over and see how my spacement's doing. So I need to bring these ones down a little bit more, because you want to make sure your space is good so that everything fits where it should. There we go. Okay, now it leaves room for my last piece. Okay. That long stretch is probably the most challenging to get your spacing correct. So then in the center, you're going to have like these little 4 pieces of your mesh kind of meet in the center. And now we're going to outside edge. Okay, then our white. And then our purple. And then we've got our white. Oops, we need to tuck that one down. Here's our white. Just make room for it in the center. Okay, and then our last section is right here at the top. We have our final 2 purple pieces, and then final 2 whites. Okay, this one's going to lay in here. Trying to get, that's what happens when your pipe cleaners are not even. You get a short one and a long one. Okay, that one gets pushed forward. Last white piece fits right in the center. Just like so. Okay, so there is the outline for our floral cross. So everything is all laid out. Do you guys have any questions on the layout, the pattern, how it goes? Just here, right? Just on what we've done so far. Have you ever made a petal leaf for a cross, Joyce? I haven't. I just prefer doing this method. I just think that it kind of looks like either wings or like little flames of like the Holy Spirit kind of thing. So that's the direction that I had with this particular design, but you can definitely try it. I just like this overall look for the final product. What petal did you do? I don't see, that's the whole thing. I know that they all have names now. I just call it like, it's almost like the bunny ears. Kate said, I bought white and purple poly today. I love seeing how these colors look together. Good. I'm glad that this is going to help. Okay, so on this particular wreath, we're going to do the center with purple, a purple rose. So Hobby Lobby this week has their florals on sale at 50%. So if you're going to do this, I'd suggest you go before Saturday. I think Saturday is the cutoff point. So we're going to be taking like a purple rose, and the purple rose is going to be our center. Wanda said, could you demonstrate how to do the petal? Yeah, I can. It'll be a different color, Wanda. You can also go back to the beginning and it's going to show you how to make it. But basically it's a 10-inch piece of Deco mesh cut to 10 inches. And you're going to go corner to corner. Okay. Make sure it's even. You're going to walk it up from the corner, right? Makes a really nice little pair of butterfly wings right there. And then you're just going to bend those around. And then I have them zip tied here, so they stay in that shape. So I guess it's kind of like a leaf pattern that we kind of just pull up and make it just look a little bit different. So we're going to go ahead and start to lay these in place. So obviously we're taking the purple rose. These are from Hobby Lobby. You can buy them in a big bunch. Like I bought them in a huge pick altogether. So I'm going to cut off the excess. There is 12, 4, 4, and 4. So grand total is 24 of what you'll need all the way around. So I'm just going to take my glue skillet. I'm going to dip my floral right in here. I'm going to dip this below those little, the 4 areas where it met together. And I'm going to go ahead and lay in my focal flower because everything is going to be built up to that. Linda says, how do you get the mesh to lay so perfect? It's placement. So when I lift this up and flip it over, you're going to see that my placement is very precise. I don't have them laying on top of directly on top. And I'm very precise on how I make my petals and using the wood burning tool to ensure we have no frays. It just kind of creates a really nice look. Okay, so now what I like to do is build my florals from the ends in to the center. So I have some of these little floral pieces that came from a bushel of ranunculus like this that I got on Amazon. They were actually like the little insert pieces. So I like this lavender color. So I removed all of these. So this is going to be our main focal part, which is going to be right at the end. I always do little on the ends, big on the beginnings. So these are cut to about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. So what I mean by start at the edge is right here. I need to feather that. So we go big, and then we should go medium, and then as we get towards the end, it should be little less. Okay, in here, we're going to start this one at the bottom, right down in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and secure these in, and what I'm doing is I'm gluing these right in between these little V's. So what it's doing is it's setting and affixing itself right on those little areas of our the little, how we what are they called, like the little round parts of the petals that we made. So there's one there. Let's see, I know I have another one here, so I have a smaller one. Remove this so they look the same for the sides, just so we're like same, just like so. I'm going to pull this around. We're going to go ahead and dip that right inside, and see how I'm going right in between, just like that. For the ones on the top and the bottom, I'm going to use a little bit more of the extended end, but just like so, right here on the end. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same at the bottom. Right in here, and just kind of push those in. So that way, everything is kind of like, it's all going to go together. It's all going to look like it forms the exact same look. Carol says, what kind of mesh did you use? This is wide foil metallic mesh from Craft Outlet. So just whatever colors you want. I have the lavender and I have the white iridescent. So those were the two colors. Okay. Now we're going to build on a bunch of different florals. So here we're focusing on the end. We're going to come in with these little filler flowers from Hobby Lobby. So what I'm going to do is just pull a couple of these off the ends, just like so. And I want the greenery, but I don't need like a big pick quite that big. So right here with the white, I want to kind of come in and kind of just soften that with the white. So I'm just going to, again, glue, go up a little bit further, and those are just going to frame the edge. Okay. I'm going to do the same on the other. So I'm going right to my next. This is where that's getting laid, and then I'm bringing those in so that they look nicer together. We need to do it to the top and the bottom as well. So I'm just going to push them all off. I'm going to do the one here on the top because I'm right here at the top. Right there on the top. I'm going to do this to the bottom. The tops and the bottoms have a little, they're a little longer, so I can work more additional floral in if I need to. I'm going to hang on to these two pieces. I'm going to hang on to the greenery. So I'm just going to put them up there. And then each time I introduce a color, you're going to see, like, we're going to add in some purple or lavender tulips. So I'm in here. So you can just kind of play with your floral and see, you know, Do you like it like that? Do you want it to be a little bit bigger? Do you want those colors? So I kind of like that purple. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to go ahead and glue that right in here along with the green. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm looking for a lavender with like here's one, with one dark. So I have like 2 lights, 1 dark. The tulips are from Michael's. We're going to go ahead and come in here. I'm just going to look at this for size for my pick. And just like that, I'm happy with the way that looks. So if you're happy with the way it looks, then you take it out and you just glue it in place. Okay, so we have purple tulips there. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here. Florals. So I'm just kind of playing with the placement of these. So sometimes you just got to move your florals around. Okay, so got that. I'm going to go ahead and do it to the bottom. It's not a replay yet, Donna, but it will be. Okay, I am looking for some different colors on my tulips. And sometimes you get those wonky tulip heads that they just don't look real pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and just make my own. And so I'm going to come in here and add those colors down here with the light. And I love adding the greenery. I think the greenery makes all the difference in the world. Okay, so remember we have a lot more to do down here than we do at the top. So now from the top, I am going to grab, as soon as I find them, here they are. I have some mini white roses. So I'm going to remove these. So now I'm kind of coming in here, and now if you notice, I'm alternating colors. So I'm going like purple, white, and then if you need to, just move your floral around. So I'm just bridging all those color combinations, purple, white, all the way through. Taking these down, wrapping them just underneath that tulip. Okay, just like so. We'll go ahead and do the same on the other. And I'm looking for one that's just solo, that doesn't have a bud next to it, like this one. These are all from Hobby Lobby Florals. I'm going to move this up and around. I'm going to go ahead and glue this, since I know we did it on one side. And so now we're going to do it on the other. So we got white rose. We're going to add a white rose here, and then we're going to do it at the bottom. There's a scoop. These ones, looking for a single. Might have to just make a single. I think we're going to have to make a single, because everything else is just 3 or 4 on that same pick. So I'm going to take this, move that up. That's why sometimes you have to just be able to customize your individual picks. So I'm going to take this, lay this right in here. I'm going to take my leaves and make sure my leaves are facing the correct direction. And then we'll go ahead and add this to the bottom. Now the bottom we can be a little bit more elaborate with. We can start with a single and then move up to a double later. So let me remove one of the sides and then we'll add this in. So this is our single. So these are all wired. You can move them. Okay, there's that. And then the great thing is greenery, right? Gives you lots of extra greenery. So I'm just going to go ahead and take, and I'm going to add some additional greenery here. I'm just cutting the little stem off. Just like that. And then we're going to get ready to add another purple flower to that. So I've got white rose, white rose, white rose, white rose. We need to add a little bit of fluff to the back end. So we're going to use that same small filler flower to kind of come in here and kind of create a little bit of a softness around our roses. So there's like one. I'm going to be doing it here. So just showing you, I'm just placing them where I want them to be. And then we're going to come back in and glue them in place. So I'm dividing with the smaller flowers the space between this. So like this will be our purple. Keep that. Again, these are from Hobby Lobby, and Hobby Lobby has these available that you can utilize 50% off. Okay. So I want this one in there. And this one's going to kind of tuck in there. See how I'm like softening that effect around those? We're going to do the same thing here. Just like so. So we're softening the bottom half so that we can get ready for something else. So I'm just going to take these and I'm just going to drop these in and make them permanent. And if you happen to get glue on your florals, let it dry and then you can just pull it off really easily. So let me do the bottom. Just like that. I think it needs just one more. So, because we've added 2 to every single one. So let's add another one here. So we can have 2. There we go. Okay, we've done the bottom. We've done the left. I'm going to go ahead and do up here. Okay. I find it just necessary as I'm working my florals, just to move them around, remove the glue as I see I need to. Okay, this one's going to get ready to go right below on our next. Okay, we've done those, we've done those. Did we do the ones? Yes, we did the ones on the top. Okay, now we're going to come in, we're going to add another level of florals as we get closer to the top. Now we're going to come in and we're going to add these lilies. Again, Hobby Lobby for the win. They have big ones, and they have, like, some have really big heads and some have really small. So we're going to be bringing these in right here at the base to kind of separate the rows. So that's going to go in there. And then we're going to start with a small, but we're going to eventually move to the bigger ones when we get here, because we have a lot more play in the lower half than we do up here. So there's this. So if you like the way that it looks, go ahead and glue your lilies in place. Okay, come down here. We're going to do this one right in here. Okay, remove the glue. Always removing the glue. Okay, so as we get closer to the center, we need to start popping some white up underneath that. And the best way to do that is we go with a larger flower. So we need to lead off with a medium-sized flower. So what we're going to be doing is coming in with the larger lilies in white all the way around our purple, right? Oops, trying to get my petal out of the way. Trying to get it to lay the way I want it to be. And if you don't feel like you have enough room here, then go either side. You know, like here on the sides, it doesn't seem like we have as much room, so I'm going to go double right here on either side. So we're going to frame that in lilies. And right up in here. I actually like the 4, so I'm going to frame that. So I'm going to do the same. I got it here at the bottom. So I'm going to do the 2 on the sides, like so. 1 in the center. We've got 2 here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I like the way that that looks. So now I'm going to pull these all out. We're going to glue them all in place. So there's 1. There's 2. Three. There's that one. And our last one. just like so. And then now we need to do the same at the bottom. We need to add in our larger lily head, working our way up. Okay, so we have it there. I'm going to go ahead and finish this area down here so you can see how this would look. I'm going to come in with a large purple lily. And that's just going to get added right in. Okay, and I'm going to keep bringing this up until we get to this point. So I'm going to be backfilling this area. So here I'm going to go with another lily. Right in here. And then I'm going to come in and add purple tulips with a darker color. So these are just going to be straight up dark purple. Like this. Sometimes you just got to move them. You got to get everything out of the way. So we're going to add those. We're going to come in and add a double, meaning the white rose with the double head. Just like that. And I'm going to position the leaves so that they should be laying, so they're flat side down. There we go. Okay. And we're going to come up with trying to find the lilies or the tulips with the different colors on them. Let's see. These ones, let's change out the heads on these. Oh, here's a perfect one. Let us swipe some of the greenery because I like the large leafy pieces on our tulips. So sometimes I borrow, especially like when you're only down to the 2 tulip head. So we're going to push all these up. There's that. Push that up. Okay, we're getting back towards our center. We're slowly getting there. Okay. So now I'm going to come in just like we have here. I'm going to bring, I'm looking. I think I'm going to bring in the white flowers, the fluffy flowers. These. I think I'm going to bring these in. And then I'll bring the purple lily in. So I'm going to take these, separate them. And then we're going to bring in that dark purple lily with the bigger head. Okay, and then now we need to come in with the little purple filler around here. So I'm going down in here. So I'm just picking up that white lily and coming in with that little filler. And now I'm going to break up the gap between all the lilies with the purple fillers. So I'm just going to take these, and these are going to go in and around this area just to fill. that. So I'm doing one in each corner. So right in here. And then we're going to come in here. Just like that. And so far, this is what it looks like. And I know you're probably thinking, well, not exactly loving it. Well, this is where we get to come in with the fun details and really elevate this a little bit more than where it's at currently. So this means we get to take greenery and add greenery, or we can come in and add more floral as we need. I have a lot of fun filler pieces like, I'm trying to think of like what I would call this. This is actually just, these are like little purple flowers that are on this stem, and I just wanted the purple. So I know it seems petty, but I really take my time and really find homes for everything so that we have just little details in everything that we do. Just like these, I'm going to push up. Let's pull all this glue out right in here, just from dragging it back and forth. You can come into the sides and add little tucks. And I like this look right under these lilies. So I am going right in here. And we're going to add one of these here, here, and here, just to fill. And those are, believe it or not, these flowers. See, I like all the purple. I didn't want the hot pink. So what I did is I found the little picks that we're playing with now, like this. So I took all the fillers off. So we have those. And I'm going to take these and kind of tuck these in. Right in there. And here's another purple flower. So I'm going to remove that. I'm going to tuck this in by the white rose. Just like that. This is where I will spend an insane amount of time working through whatever I think looks good. And this is where I said this is the detail work. When you take small little flowers and you really embellish the final product. See, just by that alone, we've completely changed the way it looks. And this is just called, believe it or not, it says it's baby breath filler, but these aren't baby's breath. I don't know. These are almost like a different kind of lavender. Just like so. So what I want to emphasize is we're going to work the center so you can see the minute details and what it does. So now we're going to come in with a couple more of the little purple flowers. I'm just removing them off of the stem. And I'm going to bring these in by the little white roses. Okay, we've done one here. Let's go ahead and add one up in here. I'm going to add another one to the other side. I'm going to add another one over here. Okay. we need to do this at the bottom as well. So let's see, I have two of these left. So let's do, I've done side, side, and side. So let's move a couple of these to the bottom since we have such a big bottom down here. I'm adding those to the very bottom. And then I'm going to add them to the very top. So that our top and our bottom are the same. And I'm just bringing them up in here. Just like that. Okay. Now, wherever we have white, we're going to add the little purple fillers. So there's a lot of white here. So we're going to come in with the purples. So both sides here. And then I have the other whites down in here. There's another one. That one's not quite as full. Now I like being this meticulous with my florals on the floral cross race, just because I think that that is what makes, you know, the look that you love. I'm going to come in and add some pieces of lavender. I'm going to break this apart because these just pop off the little ends. So I'm going to come in here and add some height. Okay. And we're going to do this all the way through the florals. We're going to come in and add some of our lavender, even as we work it through in here. Right underneath our white, we're adding the purple. And I feel like we need one right in here. See how it's elevating the look from just the blah? So we've added them in here. There we go. We've finished this side. I'm going to add just a touch of like Queen Anne's lace in here just to break up some of that one-dimensional look. But look what happens when we just do it here. So we're going to add one piece there. One piece in here. Okay. And then we're going to do right here at the bottom, just like we've done it here. Okay, we're going to do the top and work the top down. So this one is done. I finished that pick. This lavender came from Sims Pottery. So it comes in a very thick bush, but I just break it down, and then I have all the little pieces that I can add in here. Okay. What do you guys think so far? Oh, hey Steve. What brand of wood burning tool would I recommend, Josie? I prefer, there's basically any that hit 450 degrees, I think, or 425, I think is what I have my wood burning tool set to. So any that you can find. I've had people do it on, where else did they do it? Hobby Lobby has some. Michael's has some. Walmart has some. You could go through Amazon. So there's that one. I'm going to add one more piece of this right to the very, very edge. So we've done that side. Okay. We have, I need one more piece down here. So the great thing about having a glue skillet is it makes for doing florals so easy, because you just dip it. Like honestly, I'm just dipping it in my glue skillet and just placing it where I want it to go. So we've done the two there. Okay, now I'm going to work the bottom half down here. Let's go ahead and remove the glue. Wow, I have a J outside that's not very happy. So I'm going to go ahead and do these down here. And we need to elevate this stem a little bit. So I find different heights, different sizes, different textures makes or breaks your floral design. So I'm just kind of zigzagging. I'm taking the purple, the lavender, and I'm just placing it on like either side of the white because it stands out more than if I put it next to purple. And that was, I mean, look how far I got with that one pick. Just like that. So sometimes you can just kind of come in and just put them in random places and see, do I like the way that looks? If you do, then that was a fit for you. Now we need to come in and we've added a lot of purple in here. I'm going to take 2 more sprigs and put them up here by these white flowers. Right in here. And then we're going to take, I have just a few that are white. And because we have a lot in here, I want to break this up with some white. Where did I put them? There's that. Let me look. No, I haven't. Did they come out with everything else? Here they are. Here's like the little white ones. So we're going to take these and kind of tuck these in a little bit closer in here where we had all that extra. Just to kind of break up all of the purple. And these are just individuals, so I'm just pulling them off. So these are all the little details, like when you're looking at the big overall look of the purple floral wreath I did 3 years ago. This was what I did. It's time consuming as it seems, just kind of going through and breaking up color. Like I'll take white, put white where there's an awful lot of purple, so that we can kind of pop purple a bit. Let's put one in here, since we have 3 left. I'm going to go ahead and tuck one in here, and we're going to do one on the opposite side, right inside. So there's that. And now we're going to come in and add the Queen Anne's lace, which you can get at Hobby Lobby as well. Trying to keep all the florals. It comes like this. So I don't like using them in these big type of bushes. I will usually grab one of these, take the whole thing down, and then I cut them into individual little pieces so I can put them where I want. Like let's cut some more off. There we go. Lots of them. So it's just tiny, tiny, tiny. A lot of people just stop at the top and then that's as far as they go. They don't go any further than that. They don't add any small filler flowers. So I think that's where you can either set yourself apart. That one won't be able to use, it fell into our skillet. But sometimes, again, it's just like little details in between the rest of our florals. So what do you guys think? I'm going to cut another grouping of these off. So I can just play with them and put them in random everyday places. So just sandwiching them in among those like little purple filler flowers, like right in here. Just add one to there. It just kind of helps them show up a bit more. And I'm just bringing them all the way to the end. So they go all the way down. And then if you feel like it needs more filler, like on Greenery, you can take your Greenery. I'm just showing you. You can even take some Greenery and add more Greenery to it. It just depends on what you're looking for. A lot of times I incorporate some of the Greenery that's already in the florals already. Here's some purple hibiscus, or not purple hibiscus, purple Queen Anne's lace. Just tuck those in. Trying to get all the glue off. There we go. So final touches. Same thing like what we've done all the way through everything. Start small, add big. And there you have it. It's all finished. Everything is there. I'll just make sure we remove all the glue threads. Let me spin this around so you can see it, and then we'll put it on the door so you can actually see how big this is. Right now, end to end, this is 36 inches in length, so it is as tall as a full-size door is wide. So let me make sure we have removed everything. Usually all that's caused by just dragging things up and across our floral. It's always at the ends. Okay, so let me do this so you guys can see. That is our cross wreath for now. Use your hot glue gun on the cross. You can also use a heat gun? I use a blow dryer. A blow dryer will take him and remove those as well. So yes. But there you go. So normally, like when I hold it up, I can kind of see the little threads going through there. Okay, so let me show you what this looks like on the door. Let me take the wreath down. That is on the door now. Let me put this up, and then I'll pivot you up. So, and you can decide how high you want that, because you have so many options. Let me pivot you back up. Hold on a sec. There is our wreath. Yeah, you meant heat gun. I kind of knew what you meant. Okay, so here is our design. It is all finished. You can just kind of take all your stems and just make sure everything is in proper order. There we go. It's always on the ends, the very, very ends. So that is exactly what it's going to look like on a full-size door. I'm trying to show you guys the whole thing. So there is our floral cross for 2023. And we're all complete. So the great thing about this is it'll go to replay as soon as we're finished, and then you guys can rewatch this from how do you create the petals, how do we get from Dollar Tree cross frame to something that looks as amazing as this. It's actually a lot easier than it looks. It's just it's time consuming on the detail part of the flower, but you know, there's shortcuts. You can buy pre-made bouquets and then just cut them down and put them in sections. You don't have to go this big. There's some people who put a sign in their center. There's people who put a bow in the center. It's entirely up to you. You decide what you would like. And that's really all I have for you. Trying to think, today's Tuesday. We have a new design coming on Thursday, which is 11 o'clock a.m., right? 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific, 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern time. So, and then someone says, do you finish the back? You could. You don't have to. Usually I clean up the back if there's any florals kind of coming through. I'll clean that up because it gives you multiple options. Like you can hang it high, because remember, every single one of those wreath frame options give you a hanging point. You can cover it. You would probably use felt or fabric to the back, but that's about it. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining me and have an amazing day. Bye for now.